According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful B&B, Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and Hope Logan, Annika Noel, could not agree with Deke Sharp's, Harrison Cohn ideas. Will there be a problem with the fashion line's new direction? When Deke put his portfolio in the stack Hope was looking over, she was clearly impressed. Hope needed it to meet her overarching plan for Hope for the future, but she had been searching for something new and exciting. Since Deke is Hope's half-brother, he knows her well enough to know exactly what she was thinking. Hope is excited to introduce Deke's edgier styles and give Hope for the future a much-needed makeover now that he has been hired. Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, Brooke Logan Forrester, Catherine Kelly Lang, and Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay. All like Deke's work, but what will Steffi think when she sees his sketches? Steffi's criticisms could be B&B's way of providing the drama that someone needs. Steffi could disagree that Deke's plans for Hope for the future are ideal. Steffi might not even be in favor of bringing the line back. It's easy to see Steffi attempting to find Deke a different project at Forrester Creations that would better utilize his skills. Hope may become enraged if she believes Steffi is attempting to steal Deke and may have another assignment for him. Any offer Steffi makes could entice even Deke, which could lead to tension with Hope as well. Hope, though, is committed to standing up for her brand and giving it another chance to make a significant impact in the fashion world. Despite Hope for the future's prolonged absence from the game, here is Hope's chance to revitalize it and establish it as a major player once more. Despite any early complaining, Steffi might change her mind, particularly if she is pleased with the outcome of an impending preview. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, a fashion show will soon take center stage. Stay in for updates on whether this will mean good news for Hope for the future. As the new week dawned at Forrester Creations, the sun filtered through the towering glass windows, casting a warm glow over the design studio where Hope Logan stood. Her mind alive with both inspiration and apprehension, the sketches before her representing not just a new collection but a bold reinvention of everything Hope for the future once stood for. And as she ran her fingertips lightly over the vivid fabric swatches and sleek pencil renderings that Deke Sharp had produced, she could feel that spark, that unmistakable thrill of creative synergy that comes when vision aligns with execution, when possibility feels infinite. And yet, even as that excitement stirred in her chest, a familiar tension simmered underneath, because in the glamorous high-pressure world of Forrester Creations, no innovation ever came without a challenge, and Hope knew that sooner or later, Steffi Forrester would stride into that room, exuding confidence, authority, and the kind of cool professionalism that had both inspired and intimidated her for years, and Steffi would have opinions. Sharp, assertive, sometimes dismissive opinions that could shape or shatter the direction of the line depending on the day, and Hope, determined to stand firm this time, promised herself she wouldn't back down, not after everything she'd poured into reviving Hope for the future, not after finding someone like Deke whose designs captured both her ideals and her emotions so effortlessly. For when she first saw his portfolio tucked among the many submissions on her desk, she hadn't realized that the name written in neat block letters, Deke Sharp, belonged to her own half-brother, the son of Deacon Sharp, whose complicated ties to her mother Brooks still stirred up old memories. But as she flipped through the pages and saw the fusion of romantic structure with edgy innovation, she'd known instantly that the creator understood her aesthetic in a way that few ever had. And when she later discovered the family connection, it had only deepened her appreciation for his insight, as though some unspoken bond of creativity and shared heritage had guided his hand, producing something that felt simultaneously new and deeply personal. So when she'd called Deke into her office, expecting a modest, slightly nervous young designer, she'd been surprised by the quiet confidence in his demeanor, the sharp intelligence behind his eyes, and the humility that undercut his undeniable ambition. And their collaboration had been electric from the start, two creative minds locked in rhythm, challenging, refining, inspiring each other, until the early sketches evolved into a breathtaking concept. Hope for the future reborn, with sleeker lines, unexpected textures, and a narrative that merged sustainability with avant-garde daring. And Ridge Forrester, ever the patriarchal designer and master of vision, had leaned back in his chair during the presentation, eyebrows raised in genuine admiration as he murmured something about new blood revitalizing the old veins, While Brooke's eyes had glistened with pride at seeing her daughter stand so confidently, defending her vision, explaining her choices, commanding the room with grace and certainty, and Carter Walton, pragmatic and perceptive as always, had nodded his approval from the business standpoint, remarking that the new aesthetic had both market appeal and emotional resonance. And though their support buoyed her, Hope couldn't ignore the empty chair at the end of the conference table, the one Steffi was supposed to occupy. Because Steffi's absence was never insignificant. It was strategic, deliberate, perhaps even calculated, and Hope could almost hear her steps echoing down the corridor before she appeared, clipboard in hand, ready to dissect every choice, every hemline, every philosophical justification behind the new direction. And sure enough, that moment arrived soon enough. The sound of heels clicking against polished marble as Steffi entered, poised, confident, her expression unreadable but her eyes already scanning the boards on display, and after a moment of silence that seemed to stretch endlessly, she tilted her head, one perfectly manicured brow arching slightly as she murmured, "So, this is Deke Sharp's work?" Her tone neither impressed nor dismissive, but measured, assessing, and Hope felt the familiar tightness in her chest that always accompanied Steffi's scrutiny, that complex mixture of rivalry, respect, and resentment that had defined their working relationship for years. And yet this time was different, because this wasn't just about fashion. It was about identity, legacy, and vision. And Hope refused to let Steffi's cool detachment diminish her enthusiasm. So she stepped forward, meeting her gaze squarely, explaining the conceptual evolution behind the line, the integration of bold structure with romantic fluidity, the emphasis on individuality within cohesion, and for a moment, Steffi seemed to listen, her expression softening slightly as she ran her fingers over one of Deke's more daring sketches, a form-fitting asymmetrical gown that blended streetwear aesthetics with haute couture craftsmanship. But then she frowned, stepping back, her arms crossing as she observed the collection as a whole, and she said, "It's interesting, I'll give you that, but it doesn't feel like hope for the future. It feels like something else entirely." And her words, though not overtly cruel, landed with the precision of a scalpel, slicing through Hope's composure just enough to leave a sting, because Steffi's criticism always came wrapped in professionalism, never outright hostility, but always laced with challenge, as if daring Hope to prove her wrong. And before Hope could respond, Ridge interjected lightly, reminding Steffi that innovation often required risk, that stagnation was death in fashion, and that Hope's direction was both timely and artistically sound. But Steffi wasn't easily swayed, replying that risk without focus could destroy a brand's identity faster than playing it safe, and that while Deke's work was undeniably talented, perhaps it would be better suited for a new line altogether, one where he could express himself fully without distorting Hope for the future's message. And Hope felt her pulse quicken,